Hey, this is Tim,
Alexis,
and I want to welcome you guys back to.
love out loud.
All right. So, for starters, let's just, clear the air in the room. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
What's been going on in life? What you been up to, babe?
A lot of work. I would say that nonstop working, it feels like. But I feel like more as of lately, kind of trying to get some things off of the plate. Adulting really is what it
Adulting.
is, which is not fun, but it's something we all have to do. And I think
Facts.
that more recently, being able to kind of get some things off of the plate have brought about some sense of relief and rest. So, yeah, moving into a softer resting state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I guess also it's that thing with like adulting. I feel like adulting feels more applicable to like fall, winter. When it's like spring, summer, it's
I'm
like
trying to be outside. No, I'm just
exactly. No,
kidding.
literally it feels like that. And I feel like that's how it feels. Like is summer is that time like all right, let's get out, let's do stuff,
hmm
let's be active, be social, have fun. But it's like, oh snap, you got all these responsibilities, bills, taxes, this, that, and the
Oh my
third.
gosh, yes.
So yeah, it feels like that mismatch, I would say. And you
Yeah.
gotta like, you gotta be like, all right, I can go to a pool party next week. Let me handle these things right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have to find a good balance for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you, what would you say, in your opinion, is the hardest part of adulting in your experience thus far?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Because honestly, we are not like it's like yes, we're prepared to adult,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, we're not. Like I don't know if you ever felt this way, but growing up, I felt like I was never prepared for the next stage of life, like fully. And that's
Mhm.
probably everyone, but like,
Yeah.
like in high school, when they're just like, oh, in college it's gonna be different. You better have your stuff together because they ain't gonna allow this, that, or that. Or in middle school, they're just like, in high school, they not gonna play that, so you better do. And
Yeah.
it's like they say all that, and you're just like, and you get there, and you're still like, you just still not prepared. Doesn't matter what they
Yeah.
say.
I genuinely feel like that's life. Like you said, that's probably life for everybody in
Mm-hmm.
whatever stage that you're going through. Like, think about, we've talked about this before. Think about a parent that's trying to discipline a younger kid or just someone trying to give advice to someone who's younger.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that maybe they'll take a little bit of what you're saying, but they're not fully going to grasp anything until they experience it themselves. I
Right.
think that's what it is. So, to answer your question, I would say I feel like part of the hardest part about adulting is thinking about the things that nobody ever told you about or being
Mm-hmm.
aware of those things and trying to keep track of them. So if it
Mm-hmm.
is bills or car, like keeping up with your car and
Yeah.
yeah, I say taxes when tax season is coming around. No one told you. It was always kind of done for you. So
Yeah.
unless you were independent from the jump, I respect
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Right.
So yeah, I think learning some of the things that weren't responsibilities of mine before. Yeah. I think
I
it's
see.
that like learning them and ingraining them in my schedule. Like this is something I have to be mindful of now because I have to own it. I have to do it. Yeah.
I see. So almost like that when you finally paying your phone bill for yourself for the first time, you just like, dang, like how do I do this or what do I got to do? And like it's like you've always had a phone, like, and the bill has
Mhm.
just been paid to you. It's just like phones just work, like, and then when you finally have to pay the bill yourself, it's kind of that like, oh snap, I didn't realize this is my responsibility. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say keeping a track of timelines and deadlines and tasks and all of that because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times nobody's going to remind you and there's no grace period. There's no
Mm-hmm.
fallback. Just you have to be on top of your stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. What
facts.
would you say?
I would say it's like the little like tedious tasks, like the I don't know what do you call it? Like the busy work, like, and it's not busy work, like it's stuff that needs to be done, but it's in that same vein of like, oh, you have to pay a bill, do your taxes, whatever. To me, it's like I don't got a problem doing those things. I would do it, like, you know what I'm saying, and that's fine. Like I don't mind having the responsibility. But the fact that to pay your bill, you gotta like log onto this site that's like super old and remember this one random password. They make sure you add 12 letters that are uppercase and 3 special characters and no, like, it's so weird. And then you got to jump on there and then you got to make sure you send it by check on this date by this time. Call someone on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., but not on an odd number. Like, it's all these weird little things that you have to do, these little hoops you have to jump through to do these things that I feel like are the annoying thing to me. Like, if someone would just make it simple, like, why is it easier for me to, I don't know, pay Netflix like than it
Yeah.
is to pay rent or to like file my taxes? Like, I think that's the part to me. Like, calling to make a doctor's appointment and like, oh, what's your insurance? Like, fuck, I don't know. I thought y'all had like, I done told y'all a million times y'all don't know my insurance. Like, y'all should know this stuff. Like, I feel like I'm the parent that's
Yeah.
getting mad at the kid that doesn't know this stuff, but in reality I should know it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a huge transition period for us. Yeah.
Right.
It's a change because I've always wondered, like, our parents were once in our shoes. Like,
Right.
that's the big thing to take away from that. Like, they were us at some point, but now they know all of these things. And it's just like, when did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
when did. Why you, you look like you want to say something?
No, I'm listening.
But just that, like, when did they become who they are now? Where it's just
Right.
like knowing all of these things. Yeah, like I'm sure that no one taught them everything. I'm sure that a lot of it just came from them experiencing maybe the hard way.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts. That's very true. That makes me want to like call my mom or my dad and just ask them like, at what age did you feel like you officially became an adult? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good question.
And I wonder if they even felt that way at all. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm an adult now. I feel like I've officially entered the adultosphere, you know?
What does that even mean, though?
Being an adult.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think it really does come down to the responsibilities. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like, which is why I've never really wanted to be an adult, because I feel like the way that we or society kind of defines adult is you are on your own. Like, you are not expected to be helped. Like, that's the way that I kind of look at it. It's like nothing else really changes except that people are not going to willingly help you. Like, and maybe people will, but it's that like expectation of like, nah, you should be able to do this all on your own. And I don't like that. Like, it's like,
Yeah. And I think you have to something that adults tend to it seems like they tend to forget is that you do have a support system. Like you said, I do think they
right.
think that there's an expectation that's set that at some point you're just supposed to be independent and do everything and figure everything out by yourself, especially when you have a family. Almost like it's wrong to reach out to someone else for help. Like, you're supposed to be able to be superwoman, superman, just superhuman to be able to accomplish some of those tasks. But it's like, no, we all need help. And
We
so
all
you
need
see
help.
people stressed out, like adults
Stressed.
stressed, and
Yes.
dang,
It's
get a little
crazy.
sad. But
Why?
because I think that there's a healthy balance. Like, you hear people say that sometimes, tapping into your childhood or still doing childlike things like
Yeah.
playing, going outside, doing this. So you have a healthy balance. It's, everything doesn't have to be so serious and so strict. Like, or yeah, it's okay to let loose or be a little childlike sometimes, just to not be bogged down by life.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel that. So let me ask you this then, because I mean, even though we didn't completely define it, but I think we all understand slash know like the definition society has on like adult, almost like this level of maturity and independence of like have your shit togetherness, like essentially. But I guess if we were to take that and apply it to relationships, what would you say is the difference between being in an adult relationship and just in a relationship when you're young growing up? Like,
I would say, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I could say, but I think some of the biggest things is an adult relationship is pursuing something long term, like not for the short term or something that's temporary, something that you you're pursuing for your future. And so it's something
right.
that's consistent and maybe even two people in that relationship merging their lives together. Like, so even that, like taking things into consideration that involve the other person and what y'all's future looks like together, in a sense. So I feel like,
No,
what?
I was gonna say even though like I don't know, like a 15-year-old girl in high school will like drop her whole life for her man and literally run
Yeah.
away with him to Cancun and just
Yeah.
be a hippie and live out of a van for him. So she's not, their relationship is an adult relationship, even though she
I think it mean that's why I feel like you can define things so many different ways, but I
yeah.
think that when I think of adult relationship, I think you start talking about certain things that maybe no one else talks about, like
Right.
finances, goals,
Right. That's
aspiration. I
so
mean,
true.
yeah, but like you have to talk about those things that no one wants to talk about
Right.
because it's like, okay, this is the not fun stuff, but it's important.
Right.
If we're
That's
talking about pursuing a future together,
facts.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because now that I think about it, like any relationship from high school, middle school, like there was never a finances conversation. It
No,
was
not at
just
all.
like, maybe it's just because we ain't had no finances.
Right.
Like, maybe we were just too broke to like, what do you mean finances, nigga? This piece of lint, this two sticks of bubble gum and $5. That's my finances. But
I don't
yes,
have
you
nothing to my name.
right.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's so true. I think when you're in young relationships, you are not sitting there just like, so how are we gonna manage the money for summer so we could go on this trip? Like, it's just it is what it is.
Yep.
So technically, that means when you young, you could bag more chicks because they ain't worried about your pockets for
Oh my
real.
gosh.
So you really should be out in these streets because
Look, nowadays, I feel like people are moving different.
hey, facts, facts. These
Kids are
little
moving different.
right in high school, what you ain't got no car? Psh, all right, I ain't messing with you.
I find that fascinating though. Like, in a sense, there's that, like, oh, that's crazy how kids are so mature nowadays. But at the same time, you see a lot of younger kids doing things and being successful in a non-traditional way.
Yeah.
So for example, how you said 15-year-olds like are whole maybe millionaires just off of TikTok, or I don't know, just
Yeah.
something that you wouldn't expect. But I feel like because of that, I feel like I've seen a lot of younger kids being successful or doing things that are, like I said, non-traditional, but also that's like their aspiration. They're doing it and dedicating their lives to it, but already having this future set mind or future oriented mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. I could see that. I
Like, I
think.
don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this. I
Uh-huh.
mean, maybe they do, but already from a young age, chasing a bag.
Yeah, which I feel
Yeah.
like is dope, and our kids are definitely gonna be like that. If it's one thing I can influence them, yeah, that's gonna be something that I hope. I'm not gonna say they will, but I hope they
Yeah.
will have the interest in the
Yeah, the
bag. Right,
bag.
the bag. But I think at the same time, like that's one of those things that I feel like can also be concerning because you have so many kids and teens that will watch this content, or maybe their one friend is famous on TikTok or whatever and is making money at like in high school or whatever it is, and they start to compare themselves and they start to think, oh, like I'm 17 and I don't have $1 million, or I'm 16 and I'm on the cheerleading team, but I don't have like 600,000 followers on TikTok. And it's like, that's okay. Like,
Yeah,
it's okay. But
right.
it's like when we're young, I feel like that's when that comparison mindset is so strong. And I feel like
Absolutely.
the same reason those kids will chase a bag at a young age is the same reason, like, some of those kids will be super depressed. Like, it is that fact that the fact that they're like exposed to essentially like adult content, like people
Yeah.
that are like, I don't know, some people are doing things for their career, or this is how they make a living, or stuff like that, but kids are watching it, and
Yeah.
I don't know, so I
Yeah.
feel like it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think that at the same time, like, you can't hide children away from any of that stuff, but you have to, in some way, like you said, ground them in reality that this isn't the case for everyone. This is
Right.
what's being showcased to you. But
Right.
reality is you're living a normal life. Like you're
Mhm.
yeah, this isn't the standard for every single person or it doesn't have to be this way, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Facts. And then I think there are also kids that maybe they get into something so early, or they like will make things their world. Like I just the way you see kids like become, and I feel like it's an asset the way that kids, and I feel like adults should be more like this in some ways, but they can become obsessive. Like, oh, they play video games and they like it, they want to be the best in the world at it. Like, I'm not gonna stop till I'm top 10 at this video game,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which is dope. But sometimes seeing them like dive into an area that like this is not your whole world, like kind of
Yeah.
how we talked about that 15-year-old girl in high school being so obsessive over her man, she wants to run away
Mhm.
in a van to Cancun. It's like that's not, there's more to life than that, and I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes social media can create that like facade that this one thing that you're into, like whether it's making money content, whether it's being famous, whether it's, I don't know, being popular, cool, getting tattoos, being in love, whatever it is that like they get into, like it's like they could be obsessive, and you got to understand that there's so much more to life, and
Yeah.
the more balanced the better, I feel like.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think that there's definitely things that could be um put out there as options for them so that they don't just stay one track minded in something. Because I will say that's something that I've noticed as I'm getting older. Some of the creativity or ideas or all these different things that I wanted to try as a kid, maybe I didn't have the resources to explore them more then.
Mm-hmm.
That over time, as you become an adult and maybe you are into your career, this doesn't happen for everybody, but I'll say
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I feel like that creativity sadly dies down a little bit in that like
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, this is your life now, this is your career, this is what you're doing. But it's like what if when I was younger my brain was just having all these fireworks of ideas of,
Right.
and just to keep it simple, how kids can be like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, oh, I want to be a doctor, oh, I want to be the firefighter. Like what if you tapped into that a little bit more, like
Right.
this, I don't know. I remember growing up and wanting to do so many different artsy things, like
Yeah.
whether that was making clothes or like drawing or just artsy things, sewing, but maybe not having the materials to do it at that
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
wanting to be a rock star, like even if it was guitar lessons, just certain things that you never know what those paths could, where those paths could lead you. But
Right.
yeah. So encouraging them a little bit more just to
Mm-hmm.
explore because I don't know. I think that when you're a younger kid, like an adolescent at some point, you really are searching for your identity. Like
Mm-hmm.
those key developmental stages to figure out who am I.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to figure that out yourself, but you're exposed to things that are telling you how you should be, like
Mm-hmm.
then you feel like that's how you're supposed to be or that's what you're supposed to be doing. But it's like
Right.
no, it's those are the times where you should be a little introspective or
Yeah.
explorative to figure out who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that, like, it's probably something that is always gonna have some, like, room for improvement, which is that kids or teens, like, growing into themselves and exploring who they are. I feel like that is such a influential phase of their life. Like, all it takes is one friend to be into drugs, and then
Yeah.
that person becomes a drug dealer for the rest of their life. One friend to be into business, and that person spends the rest of their life trying to do business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that is very interesting. So if you could go back and tell young Alexis, or actually no, forget telling, you're here now. So if you could reignite one of those passions that you feel like you had when you were younger, what would that be?
mm,
Because you say that there was a lot of different things that your mind was like into, like you, a lot of different areas that sparked your interest. But if you could bring one back and have that same level of passion and interest in it now, like what would it be and why?
hmm That's a tough question. I think that it would definitely be something creative.
Mm-hmm.
Creative, maybe non traditional. Something that
Mm-hmm.
feeds more of the soul, the mind, the body, the spirit, all that, instead of kind of what society expects you to do. Something
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, if you will, keeps the world turning. Like, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
mm, I would say something artsy, like hands on. I think that I was really into drawing and arts and things as a kid, but maybe again not having certain resources to explore that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just somewhat that idea, the idea of exploring that being a little tainted in the sense that like, oh, there's no future in this, a successful future. I feel like you
Right.
hear that a lot, like
Mm-hmm.
artists or musicians. It's kind of like, oh, that's cool, that's a great gift,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not gonna make any money with it, which you can. But I think if with more influence, that no, you can do something with this, and also that it doesn't have to be your main thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, you
Facts.
can make money in other ways, but at least don't lose this craft. Like, this is a gift. This is something that
Right.
you could just continue to do that just makes you happy internally or ignites a passion or keeps you going every day.
Right.
Then
Exactly.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, so I think that I would definitely not let that fire die down
Mm-hmm.
inside of me. So maybe for to specific tasks, I think that would be like just hands-on art. I used to like doing a lot of physical, whether it was like creating,
Mm-hmm.
um, just whether it was creating clothes, making clothes, or knitting
Wow.
up rugs, or just
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember seeing the jeans jacket that you were have it that had the patches on. You still
mhm,
have that, right?
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I hope you didn't throw it away. I
No,
know you
no,
cleared out the closet the other day. You
no,
just
no,
like
no,
I'm
no,
over it. Like you haven't
no.
added a patch in a while, babe.
I haven't, and I was looking today when we were in the stores. But I think even with that, like, it's more than just going and just grabbing random patches.
Right.
Like, it's always gonna be something that is meaningful, whether it's like traveling, like actually
Mm-hmm.
traveling different places and having some significance. But
Right. Yeah. Well, you gotta tap back into that for
we gotta
sure.
travel.
But we no 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 no. We
Okay,
have
no,
we
we
traveled,
have, we
and I
absolutely
feel like
have.
we've actually gotten patches
Yeah, we
someplace.
have. I just haven't looked
Yeah,
at
like I
mine. Okay,
remember,
yes, yes.
yeah, I vividly remember us being in stores like, oh, there's a patch here, and you us getting it, and then I mean, honestly, like it would make me a little bit excited, kind of like. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. Like finding you a patch from a memory we made is just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is dope. I can't wait to see like where she's gonna put it, how she's gonna put it, how long is gonna like, is it gonna mix with the others, all of that. Is she,
Yeah.
when she's gonna wear it next, all of that, and then I'll never hear from that patch again.
I'll
But
have to do. I gotta re up on the patches.
yeah, gotta re up, gotta re up. Okay, so I guess this is my question from the
Mm.
whole conversation that we have had.
Yeah.
My question to you, and I'll also answer the question as well, is in what way do you think I can be more adult like in our relationship?
Hmm.
And in what way can I be more childlike in our relationship?
I don't know if you could be any more childish. No,
And she that's the thing. You hear that? I didn't say childish. I said childlike. She gonna talk about something. You can be more childish. Oh my goodness,
no,
she's so
I'm just
funny.
kidding. You are, but in the best way, the
Okay.
literal best way. You keep me that way, but
Yeah, because I guess we talked about the
that's really
adult
tough. Yeah.
adulting in relationships or an adult relationship. Like, what is one way that I can, for the betterment, obviously, not just because, but for the betterment of our relationship, that I can be more or embrace more of a adult like relationship.
Hmm.
Yeah. And in what way? A more childlike relationship, childish relationship. But yeah, what ways can I
Mm.
be more? And I'll say the same for you.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let me put my armor on so I'm ready to take this. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. um,
Okay, so I'm just
I
kidding.
thought I was going to. No, I'm just
Nah,
kidding.
if you
I,
can think about it.
I do think I can at least think about. I have more things may come up over time, but I would say that maybe one way to be more adult like would be independence, which we
Mm.
talked about that. But I
Mm.
think, and I think that since we've talked about that, actions have followed suit. Like you've shown that. But in the sense of just like we naturally like care for one another, and so
Mm.
having those expectations or kind of ideas of your person doing things for you, and it's not a problem at
Mm.
all, unless it is. And so I don't think that I've ever had a problem with you relying on me to do certain things, but
Mm.
that kind of like, it's not that I won't do it or that I can't do it, but I think that there's moments where it's like, I want to see you do it. Like,
Mm.
and then even when we've
I
had those,
gotta show you that I could do it.
then because maybe if it's like I haven't seen it, because it is almost like a, I'll push this task to you to take
Mm-hmm.
care of it. And when we've had those conversations, maybe getting that reminder of like, no, I can do it. I can do
Yeah.
it. I'm just not doing it type thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so being able to see that, I think it's just something about that of like, I think for me personally, when it comes to anything as far as like independence or being an adult, like it's that just natural feeling of I care for you so much
Mm-hmm.
that almost for almost for my own reassurance, knowing that you would be okay if I weren't here. Like if
Mm.
I weren't doing it for you, that you
Got you.
can.
Got
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
that's the biggest thing.
All
Yeah.
right. That's fair.
So at least seeing it just one time. Just
Yeah.
one time. Yeah.
And then that's 2 times and 3 times, 4 times, and then I'll just do it myself. But okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I have to think about childlike ways because, like I said, I do feel like you have a healthy childlike energy to you, and I really
Mm-hmm.
do love that. I think, yeah, I don't. Right now, I can't think of any ways that you're too serious or like you
Mm-hmm.
can be, but I don't think that you don't have a childlike energy. Like you like to have fun, you like to be bold, you like to be adventurous,
Mm-hmm.
you like to play. Like you're very creative
That's
in
good.
so many different ways. So yeah, right now I can't think of how you could be more childlike.
Well, think about it. There
I
has to be
will.
a way.
I will.
Okay. I think mine. There's so many. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm ready.
Relax, relax. Everybody, calm down. I'm just kidding. But okay. For you, I would say to more adult. Like, first of all, let me just say, you got your shit on and popping, baby. You are
Hmm.
so locked in. You get things done. Like, yes, you, and I admire that about you. Like, you, when there are tough things that need to be done, you get it done. Like, and you don't let, surprisingly, like mood or situation or things like that get in your way. And honestly, you rarely ever, if ever, complain about things. Like, and
Hmm.
when, even if you do complain, it sounds like not like you're complaining, more so you're just narrating. Like, you're just like, this is this is what is currently happening, you know.
Stop. That's
No, seriously, babe. And I feel like that is beautiful to see, and it just brings a whole level of peace of mind to me that I feel like is just not found out there in the world at all. Like, and so I'm grateful for that. And I think sometimes that can make me a little bit like not as aware when something is tough for you or you are struggling, you know, and maybe I can brush things off and be like, oh, she fine, because 9 times out of 10 you are fine, and that's so crazy to me. And yeah, so yes, you get stuff done, and you are an adult in every way that you need to be, without a doubt. Let me just say that. What I would say though, if I had to pick something, it would probably be just, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna say this because I know you want this and I want this too,
hmm.
but for whatever reason it's not happening. And so I would say routine. Like
Yeah.
routine. Yeah. So just, I feel like adults have locked in routines. Like, and of
Yeah.
course there are times to, you know, stray away from the routine, but for the most part we don't have one. And I feel like, of course, there's me that I need to work on finding my own routine, and there's a lot of like growth I need to do in general. But I feel like you should have one. Like, and I don't know why, but I know that you would probably be so much happier with one
Yeah.
because
I
you have
agree.
such a strong desire for, I don't know, like not wasting days, like getting up and getting out, like waking up, meditating, those types of things. And I feel like when there is no routine, you miss out on so much of that stuff, whether it's seeing the sunrise or that those quiet early mornings or quiet late nights. Like meditating, like sometimes like just meditating in the middle of the day when you're already doing things feels weird or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or and so stuff like that. I feel like if you brought that in, and even just for yourself, not only would it probably like rub off on me a little bit, but even if it didn't, just for you, I feel like that bringing that adult like routineness in would probably be a super benefit for you and for me and the
Yeah.
relationship in general. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I would agree with that for sure. I think that that would be something, like you said, I think we would both feed off of routine, good,
Mm-hmm.
strong routine, and probably feel like we're getting more out of life.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Childlike, do you have anything?
I can't think of anything yet.
Okay. Um, childlike. Mm, I'll say when I challenge you to be childlike, you are childlike. And there's times when you just are out of nowhere, which is so cute and adorable to me, and I love that. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So childlike, I will say no. Like there are things you do that is just it is childlike and cute to me. Like writing little notes and leaving them for me. Like that is so sweet, baby. You are amazing. You're
Aww.
adorable. Um, yeah, so I guess I have to think on childlike too. Maybe we could pick that up on another episode.
Okay. Yeah,
What do
for
you think?
sure. I think we could because I feel like I don't know. I do think and I'm grateful for that we do have a childlike energy within our relationship, whether that's going out and playing pickleball or
Mm-hmm.
playing video games here and there or dancing randomly or like you said notes or playing games sometimes like
Mm-hmm.
online escape room games or even in person escape games and
Mm-hmm.
just different things that I think when I think childlike I think play, so anything
Yeah.
that equates to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that our relationship is just so serious and adult like,
Right.
which is good to me, but at the same time we are able to do that. And I will say, just to emphasize your adult energy as well, like you are, I feel like you're my answer to everything. Or if I don't know something, you're my Dr. Google. Like, I swear, and I've said this to you before, I feel like you know something about everything. Like, I could say a random topic and you just know. So, I think I do rely on you in that way, like just
Mm-hmm.
that security that if I fall short in a certain area as an adult, quote unquote, an adult, that I know that I can count on you to maybe have some insight or awareness of how to figure things out. And if you don't, within seconds, literally, like give you a few minutes, just leave you be, and you gonna have an answer. Like,
Yeah.
yes, and I love that. I do think that's a strength of yours that just amazes me every time, and in ways not that I can't do it, but I think that you, like I said, it's a strength. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's
Thank
a
you, baby.
superpower of yours to figure it out, get it done. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
told you before, I will always bet my money on you. Like,
Thank you, baby.
you, yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you have any closing thoughts?
No, no, I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that was a nice comeback episode.
I agree. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and please continue to listen. We have so much to talk about, and I hope you
Absolutely.
enjoyed it.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace.